Hello, everybody. Of course, this is the Sister Leaders Podcast, and I am Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. And I don't spend a whole lot of time with those niceties. The bio of our esteemed guest is posted for you to read, and so we're just gonna jump right in it because I'm just that type of person. And so today we have the none other than Christy Rutherford. And Christy, tell us the problem you solve here on this earth.
I assist women with getting to the next level professionally and personally through office politics and self-care. $15 million in salary raises to small business revenue since 2020. That's what we're doing over here.
That's right. And we love receipts. We love those receipts. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive into that. And so many times when people have an area expertise, their journey is because of either something they went through or someone that they know went through. So is that the same for you? Tell us about how you got into this.
Yeah, well, it's a lot, right? And we figured out, Dr. Karen, we're calling it the Pay Raise Playbook. So we're formulating that right now. So it's 8 steps really to getting a raise. And so a lot of people think, Chrissy, tell me how to get a raise or ask for a promotion. I'm like, no. That's step number 8. Step number 1 is you got to acknowledge that you got some stuff going on. And so, one of the things, Dr. Karen, is women aren't admitting they're on fire. If y'all haven't done anything since 2020, look, let's be clear. We were on fire before 2020.
Yes.
2020 just exacerbated our crazy. And so there are a few women that said yes to the change. There are a lot of women who said no. And I wonder if they're still alive, right? And here's the thing. Had what's going on today happened in 2011 or 2012, I would be dead. Legit. Like, I was high achieving military officer working 3 times as hard to what I was told to get half the results, working 80 hours a week, getting all these degrees, doing all the right things, saying all the right things, going to the Christmas parties, taking all the hard jobs. And so, have my ups and downs with the difference in the military. We leave every 2-3 years. So we're not with the same toxic boss for 10 years. So I have a good boss, I have a terrible boss. I have a good boss, I have a terrible boss. And so through the ups and downs of a 16-year career, I ended up getting and I worked for him before, but a straight a-hole. He was a psychopath, right? And so he told my number 2, he was the number 1 guy, and I was number 4 in the office at the time, but he was going to destroy me. And so it's this whole, my world started to unravel, because how can I do all the right things in my career? Because in the military, I'm at 16 and a half years. I was going to retire at 20. So I'm on the downward slope. Does that make sense? So I'm about out of here to get my guaranteed security. And I made my job and my career and my perception of who I was as a part of my career. It was like my identity, my everything. And I had nothing left. And so here I have this man harassing me, and nobody was managing him because he was a known toxic leader. So there are 2 things that were at play, right? The first thing was, yeah, he was harassing me. But the second thing was, I was stressed out and crazy before he came. I had been stressed out, crazy, and miserable for 15 years. I love my job. I hated my life. And so, it all came to a head. It's like, so I'm ready to fight you to stay in a place that I was miserable in my life anyway. And so that realization was the hardest thing, because I had everything, Dr. Karen, externally. I got everything they told me that I couldn't get. I proved all the naysayers wrong, and I was miserable before him. He just put the mirror in my face. And so I ended up resigning, and, I didn't ride out on the magic carpet because it was hell on the way out. But, to make that decision to basically save my own life, because I knew I was going to die. And we're at a point now where we're literally watching Black women drop dead in jobs. And they keep on going with the program, roll them off the stage and keep on going. And either you're dying acutely, or, the number 1 cause of death for Black women, actually Black and brown women, is heart disease and cancer. So our emotional unavailability and staying in toxic work environments and really being miserable regardless of what we've achieved is eating us alive. That's why I do what I do. And that's a part of who I was. But, people ask me about, to really answer your question, career coaching. Like I was mentoring in the Coast Guard. I know coaching was a thing until I went to this conference and I was like, wait, hold up. They got a name for that? That's what I do. Oh, people get paid to do this. So I've been coaching for 23 years, but that's a part of why I do what I do today.
I love that. So let's look at your avatar. So your ideal client, which actually would be myself. So some of the things you said, you rolled off. I have heard myself say before, you get the blueprint, you follow the playbook, you get the education, the experience, you take the stretch assignments, you make your way through these questionable bosses, knowing that prayerfully that it's going to be a short period of time.
Yeah.
But they're women who come to you, check off all the boxes. They are successful to everyone else around them. And so I want to kind of drill down to confidence. You hear this term about mindset and confidence. Women who check off all those boxes, they are successful to everyone around them, including themselves. But there is something that is going on, and maybe you can tell us that prevents them from asking for their worth, because that's where you're helping them out. You're helping them out on how you look at things. So tell me about confidence mindset with these super successful women.
Yeah. Well, now we're getting to play number 3 and 4, right? So I'm glad you let me break this down.
Okay.
It's really about now we have to look back at why can't you see how great you are? Because women I work with are bad ASS. They just don't know. Just like me. When I left my career and I had nothing because I attached my identity to my job, and I had been in survival mode long before I got that job, right? Like a lot of high achievement women have some interesting childhoods and some backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't know because we've mastered and covered it up. And so the chickens have come to roost, baby, because we are masters of compartmentalization. We ain't unpacking nothing. And so we're stacking this bonfire of experiences that when somebody light a match, the whole world burns down because we're afraid to stop long enough to look in the mirror and be like, who am I? And who am I without whatever we just lost? Right. And so a part of the stop and the confidence that women want and the money that they think they need to make them feel some type of way and the degrees that they get to make them feel some type of way, they're actually fighting a narrative of something that happened a long time ago that they're unaware of. We go dig for that. And so a part of in my career, I was a pollution responder amongst a million other things. You know what military people are. But it's like, when a ship hits a bridge or an oil is coming in the water, we go out to respond. So you got the people who are freaked out because oil is washing up on the beach, and then you got the ducks that are getting dirty, and the people who are worried about the fish, and then you got the people who are worried about the oil in the water. We're looking for the source. So because if we can stop the source, then or figure out where the source is coming from, then we'll let everybody do their thing. But until you stop that, you're still going to be bleeding everywhere. So a part of my mental construct is I'm going to look for the source. So what is the real reason why you feel like you're being bullied at work? A lot of women, Dr. Karen, and actually one of my clients, I think she's 55. She was bullied every day when she got off the school bus, right? Like, so she anticipates. Are you there? Okay.
Yep.
My Wi-Fi is tripping. I'm in a hotel. Okay. So she's 55. She looks out because when she gets off the bus, she don't want to get beat up. This is like, 50 years ago. But in her mind, she anticipates hell. And so she foresees hell, Dr. Karen. She plans her day to plan how to avoid not getting bullied. She didn't even know she was living like that. And so she's a risk manager in her career.
Oh, wow.
Right? She built her whole, life around this thing. And so I have coaches, but I joined my clients on the line and we're talking about her traveling and what she couldn't do. And maybe I'm going to get to the airport late. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, so you look for hell every day. She didn't even know that. She never expected in 55 years to have a great day and wonder why she was depressed and had anxiety and had all these things. That was her. And that was something So once we figured that out, and once I made her aware, because she's a winner now, let's be clear, gazillion degrees, she got a great job. She's traveling, she in Dubai, she went to Egypt, she was in Turkey, like, so she got money, but she was living hell her whole life. And once I said that, she said, my God, now it's like something good is going to happen to me. It's a whole different experience to now her wounded childhood persona now catches up with the present value of who she is, pretty much. And now she can live from the awareness of who she is. So she wasn't confident because, she went back to, I'm always anticipating hell. So that's a part of what we do. I hope I explained that pretty good, but.
Yep. I'm following you. Well, I'm a fan anyway, and so I know how to follow you. So I want to here at the Sister Leaders community, we talk about that we are the pilot in our career, not the co-pilot. And simply what that means is that if it is time for you to be promoted, you don't wait for your employer to hand you a promotion. If the promotion opportunity is not there, you show yourself to the marketplace. And so I want to talk about those women or clients that you may have worked with, recognizing that they've worked themselves up the chain, up to this job that they may have had their eye on for a while. And how difficult or easy is it for them to exit when an opportunity does not present themselves within their current organizational structure? Because successful women are extremely loyal to a point, and we stay in situations way too much longer than we should.
It's interesting because I'm watching like some coach, I know she probably looking at me sideways, was telling people this is how you endure a toxic workplace. I was like, get the F out of here, right? Like, what are you talking about? How are you teaching? I don't think we should endure.
Yeah.
That's why we dying. And that's why women are committing suicide. This is why women are getting cancer. This is why women are medicated, because you talking about endure. Are you, anyway, let me get off that. See how I went in on them comments. But it's, what are you talking about? So a part of the fear, Dr. Karen, is they haven't recognized who they really are. So that's until we solve that. That's why they stay, because they've attached and they're playing safe. And so some women who grew up where, if you had a single mom or your parents didn't have a lot of money, they stuck on safety and survival. So if, and they're not going to necessarily, if you're making 120, like I've had one of my clients last year, she started at 150 in January. She got to $1.5 million in October. She was already worth $1.5 million. She was holding on to 150 because because of her childhood and always in survival mode. So she played safe. So safe is easy, but safe is also hell, because you a lioness and a hyena then wonder why, they harassing you. Because if you're in a toxic work environment where everybody around you is petty, that means that you're out of position, but you're not going to move, because in your mind, you got to have a check, and they won't ask for a raise, Dr. Karen, because they don't want to ruffle any feathers, and they don't want to get in trouble, and they don't want their boss to dislike them. So this is why women leave. So once you become aware of some of the things that you're telling yourself, once you're aware of, I like to, you mature. I don't know if I've been talking to these young people, they don't know what a tape player is. There's a tape. I would say there's a story playing in the background of your life at volume number 5, right? And it's always playing is whatever story and narrative that you're telling yourself of why you're not getting along and why you can't get ahead and why you can't have a healthy relationship. Whatever it is playing all the time. Right when you get to a point where you want to take a risk, that thing goes from 5 to 50. Now you talk yourself out of the very thing that you need. And then once you talk yourself out of it, it goes back down to 5. And it's always playing. We have to get clear on what is that conversation that you're having with yourself that shows up in times of you wanting to take a risk. And so once you become aware of what it is, then the women are going to change, because they're already successful. They're just working on the wrong thing. So once you become aware of who you are, you'll be like, I don't have to put up with this. And people promote and hire who they know, like, and trust. 70% of my clients don't leave their job. They get promoted in the exact same job because they're now aware of what their value is, and they go ask for their value. And the employers have always known they just gonna pay you wholesale. Why would they pay you full price when you put yourself on sale? But when they know that you're the background to their foreground, you're the cornerstone to their everything, they need you. Once you recognize who you are and you go in and ask for it, they be like, okay. My women be like, what the? And I'm like, don't be mad at them. You stayed there for that long.
Yeah. Because that okay means you could have got it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. That's what the okay means.
They
They
be like,
already
okay.
know you're worth it. They know you're worth it. And that's what your realization. I love that. I love that. So what is some of, if you could share with us some of the feedback that your clients have shared with you that employers have maybe said when they're starting out this process of reevaluating their salary as they are establishing and recognizing their value. They are known a certain way within an organization, and I'm sure employers feel a certain type of way. If you could share with us what type of information that your clients have shared with you that they've received from employers when they start that process.
Yeah, well, they notice that the women are happier. One, they're less likely to get aggressive because we get aggressive, we want to fight folks, or they stop shrinking in the rooms. And so once they start to tap into executive presence, people think that executive presence is us. You taking a picture like this, or you know how women take their pictures, they have their hands like this, and then I'd be like, my God, sis, relax, right? What are you talking about? Stop it. Executive presence isn't you being like them. They hired you as a Black woman. You over there acting like a white man because we're taught to conform into environments that, into the majority, assimilate into the majority culture. And you're not giving any information. You're not giving any groundbreaking information because you're trying to fit in with who they are. And so once we start to relax in who we are and start to when we relax, they relax. We are powerful women. When we walk in a room, not knowing who we are, we offset the energy in the room. When we walk in a room mad, ready to catch a case, right? Because they're not promoting us, they feel that. Don't nobody want to be around an angry woman. They got that at home.
Yeah.
So being more harmonious, being able to take what we consider to be pettiness, but just being able to roll with it and not thinking that, like they're afraid to crack jokes because somebody gonna die in a room if somebody crack a joke and chest bump you. Does that make sense? So I'll give you two examples. One of my clients ended up getting a new boss who came in. He was toxic. Everybody hated this dude. So we ended up, I gave her a book to read, and she had already done the work. I'm like, don't engage this man. So if somebody say something to you petty, I just actually posted a video about it, and you get aggressive, they got a worthy opponent. They be like this. So now it's like the two elk that are fighting. The line is, animal teaches this stuff. But if you shrink and become a victim, my God, that's like a shark having blood in the water. They go crazy. So your goal is to be like, Jack in The Incredibles, to be like the Gumby baby. They can be chewing on you, be sitting like this. You be like, and you don't move. Your energy doesn't shift because people are being petty. And so the people who rose up and got aggressive with this man, they got fired, right? And these are like, they get paid $600,000-$700,000. So these ain't no normal people. I can't say normal, but they get paid. The people who shrunk, he bullying them. She didn't do nothing. She's now going to get promoted in this organization because she's now his right-hand man. Like, she's his confidant. Like she became that person that he can trust because she's not shifting in her energy. So that's one. Another one, another client, she wasn't being promoted because her boss had said that she was aggressive and she wasn't a team player. And so if you say something to her, she would chase you down the hallway and cuss you out. Now, here's the thing. When she was 14, her cousin called her ugly in front of his girlfriend, and she didn't stick up for herself. So it's two things that happened back in the day where she didn't feel like she stuck up for herself. But she, they had money and she had a great childhood, but it was two things that happened. She didn't stick up for herself. So now at 40-something, if you say something to her, what she's not going to do is not stick up for herself. So she goes overboard. So anyway, once we got her settled and she stopped chasing people down the hallway, cussed her out, she ended up getting promoted in a different, on a different team. She went from 6 direct reports, I think, to 1. So my clients make more money and then they work less because we ain't doing all this stuff no more. And so, she has less direct reports. She's making more money. They want her to cast a vision, so she's not working as hard. And they hired her because they said she's a leader and a team player. She wasn't getting that, right, months before. She has that now, and now people can see that she's harmonious. People want senior women on their team. They want Black women in the room. They don't want an angry woman in the room. They don't want a passive woman in the room. And they don't want a woman in the room who's passive aggressive. Like, they don't know which one they're going to get.
I can agree to that, and I can attest to that. Um, as we are wrapping things up, I do want to step back just a little bit because your receipt since 2020, when the pandemic hit, is I don't even know what to say about it. I
That's
just
when I
keep
started
watching it.
posting.
I just keep watching and waiting for you to increase it, because I think last time I checked it was 15 million since
Uh-huh.
2020, and
Uh-huh.
I think I know you had posted a goal somewhere along the lines by 2025. So tell us
Mhm.
about the goal,
Yeah.
and tell us, given the progress that you've made, and the amounts that your clients have negotiated, which is the 15 million the last that I checked, your future goals. What are your future goals? And I remember you, but it's a number associated with it, in continuing to support women in the workplace. And then also tell me how you got it, that number, how you got it,
Okay.
that goal number.
That's easy. So I was working with Paul Brunson back in 2019. It was 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. But anyway, I think it was 2020, early 2020, right before the pandemic popped off. And so, we were setting a goal because we're working on becoming a thought leader. And so I was like, all right, well, I want to get 5,000 women promoted. And that didn't really make me nervous. I was like, because that's like, this is what I do, right? Like, we have the largest number of senior Black officers in the Coast Guard in history. That was me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I've been doing this. I am this. This is like doing career and all this other kind of stuff. This is what I do. But 5,000, I was like, eh. But then I said, I want 10,000 women to get promoted by 2025. I was like, oh my God, I got real nervous. I said, okay, great. Because when you get nervous, that means it's not just me, it's me and God. So this is a God vision. This ain't about what Christy do. Christy can get 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the Lord can get 10,000. So after the first year, probably about 18 months later, on average, my clients get about $100,000 raise. So some get 20,000, some get 400,000. So I was like, okay. So once we were able to quantify on average it's $100,000, 10,000 women at $100,000. I was just like 5,000 women get promoted by 2025, right?
Yep.
Once I said, okay, 10,000 women promoted by 2025, 10,000 women times 10,000 women times $100,000 is $1 billion. That's how we were able to quantify it.
Oh, I love that. And I'm a numbers person. So I was like, how does there's a formula to this. So I'm glad that I was able
Yes,
to
it was
hear
true.
that.
It wasn't like something I made up. It was like, I want to get 10,000 women promoted. And then once we started to pop all these raises. That's when I was like, what was we doing before that? Was I counting this money? Because it got real fun in 2020 to start counting the money, because that's when everybody's like, oh, the world is on fire. I'm like, this. No, we get money over here. But yeah, it's the $100,000. And yeah, so it's 10,000 women, $100,000 on average, which is a real number, is $1 billion. So
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that, because I knew that there was a formula just because of the type of leader that you are, from what I see,
yeah.
and myself just in the world. So my last question comes from the Sister Leaders community. I have a membership community, and I let a few people know who I'm going to be recording with. And so I told them that I'm going to be recording with Christy Rutherford.
Yeah.
So I picked this question out of the questions that they asked, and I want you to give your take on it. I know your take because I went through all of your posted work and I found something you spoke on. So, people in higher ed and governmental jobs believe that you cannot help them garner more salary because of the structure of their organization and the limited budgets that they believe higher ed and government has. I know what the answer is because I follow you, but I'm going to let you respond to that ridiculousness.
Here's the thing, right? People, I want to draw it out. One day I'm gonna draw it out in a video. But it's like, people who are in government and education waiting for 30 years, like, you're surrendering your full value in the market for security, right? Because you're working for $125,000 when your value is $600,000, because you're working to stay secure. So you're surrendering your lifestyle, your desired lifestyle, the things you want, holding on to a safety net of, once I retire, then I'm going to be secure and I'm going to be safe. People die before they get their retirement. So that's one.
Yes.
The second thing is, so, I had a client who had 15 years in the federal government, and we doubled her salary 100% remote. and they treat her like a queen. When I say they treat her like a queen, they put up at 5-star hotels, they rent her luxury cars, because that 15 years of experience has value somewhere in the market. Mm-hmm. And so I had an educator who was a principal at a high school. I'm sorry, the federal government worker, had high blood pressure. She was pre-diabetic. She was 60 pounds heavier than she is today. So she's secure. She worked at the White House.
It was killing
but she's dying. She would have died before she got that retirement, right? And she knew that, which is why we came over. We did the work. Double her salary, 100% remote, with a company that treats her like she walks on water. Like, Jesus, I promise you, like, they love this chick, right? And they let her do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do, right? And so you have value, so you can stay on this, I have to stay here, and you're going to die before you get it, and keep your fork plugged into an electric socket, or you're going to get the courage to now make a decision to go do something different. Another one of my clients was a principal at a top high school in Ohio, and she was over there talking about making weed brownies during the pandemic. And so, because she was sad all the time. And so once she actually had a friend who I coached, and she's like, wait a minute, all these women around me are like miserable, and there's one lady who double her salary, because that's what we do, and like she on the come up, her and her husband are happy, all the other kind of stuff. She was like, man, what you doing? So she was like, oh, well, Chris, great, we double her salary working 20 hours a month. So she
now wait a minute, not a week, a month, 20 hours a month. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody heard that right.
Yeah, because it's like, if you, that stuff as an educator, I always say educators are the women who get $400,000 in degrees to make $85,000 a year. That math don't math to me. I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all need all these degrees, but whatever. So your intellectual property, who you are, has value to somebody else. But if you're holding on to security, what's the point if you've been depressed for the past 5 years, right? So she consults for Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has managers who deal with teenagers. She's a person who's been educated on how to deal with teenagers. So that not lateral in a sense of money, but that experience can also be put to work somewhere else. So y'all just have to be willing to get uncomfortable. And a lot of women aren't willing to get uncomfortable to be able to explore what else is available to them, because we're stuck on safe and we're stuck on security. But Dr. Karen, that started long before we got a job. And that's the goal, is once you start to dig up and figure out, why are you stuck on security? Why are you miserable? And you're just going to stay here and you're going to die here. And what is concerning to me, and I talk about it all the time, I especially talk about it to my coaches, and is that women are being conditioned to become like even more complacent these days in 2024. Like, I almost think they're looking for a medical condition to give them relief on why they so effing miserable. I guess it's annoying to me, right? I have to stop talking about it. I need a mental health break from this conversation, because I can't take, because I'm passionate about it. Like, I can't take watching women electing to die while pointing a finger at other people when they have the power all along. Right. And if you just have the courage to get uncomfortable and own your ish, which we're publishing a book in the next couple months, but own your stuff and know that it's you, because once you own that you're the creator of your life, you're also the creator of your misery. You're also the cure. You can create a better life. You can design the life that you dreamed of, because we got lied to. We all went and got the grades, we got the good job, and we checked all the boxes, and we're looking around about 40-something, because I was 37 when I fell apart. I'm like, I was lied to. They told me if I got this job, Dr. Karen.
Yes.
They told me if I finally get my seat at the table, I got my seat at the table. I fought for years. I always want to go to the 8 o'clock meeting, because they're the people in charge. That's like the C-suite, right? So I finally got my seat at the table. I got that seat. I said, what the hell have I done? How do I go back? How do I slide back down the side of this mountain? And that's what I wanted while I'm in the room fighting. And now it's like, I can't tell anybody that I'm suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Christy Rutherford, the superhero for everybody.
Yep.
I was a coach and a mentor. I mentored 70 or 90 people. I've lost count of the while outside of my office, in addition to the 160 people who work for me, right? So, like, who can I tell?
Yep.
Superwoman in trouble. Superwoman is in hell. Superwoman that realized her whole life is a lie. And I got one person who's going to wipe it away. And that's me blaming him at the time, because I didn't know that, oh my God, I can't believe I've lived my whole life fighting for this one thing that can be washed away like this, but I was stuck on security because they
Mm-hmm.
owed me.
Mm-hmm.
But I hated my life anyway. I was like, I hate it here. How do I get down from this? If I could just slide, I used to ride by the office and just keep on driving. Drive for like 30 minutes, right? Ride by the office, just hope that I hope I might start cussing. Just to hope that it would just crumble and nobody would get hurt. You go to the office today and the building explode. I hated it. and I'm still staying. Like,
Yep.
what's the point of, how dare I live such a mediocre soul existence while, trying to satiate my sense of security with a job? Job, please.
Yeah, that's that background of that blueprint that we were all fed back in the days. Yep, and we're still trying to hold on to that blueprint, but thank goodness and thank God that people like you are available, and that, and preferably people who don't know you, they know someone who know you. And
Yeah.
so where you can tell them that you have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray, and there is another way, and you will just die once I tell you how freeing this other
Yeah.
way is. And so, and that's one of the things that I really like about you. I like your straight no chaser way that you communicate and with these women, and I just enjoy it. So why don't you tell them how they can stay in connection with you? Of course, your full bio is going to be posted with this, but and then also if you could touch on your membership community as well, because I know you do have a membership community, and I certainly want you to speak on that.
Okay. Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, they can connect with me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to harass you. I actually post 2 videos a day on Instagram. I only do one on LinkedIn, and then also you can get my Pay Raise Playbook. Pay Raise Playbook. I gotta say that 3 times. We're just launching it because what I've learned how to do, I actually work. I keep a coach, but I work with a company to systematically, because typically people think I'm talking about 8 different things. I'm really just talking about the one woman. So now I'm able to systematically lead you through how you got to where you are, and then give you that almost call to action, like, you got to change your life. So it's not so scary, because a lot of times people think that where they want to be and where they are is like this wide. Is actually like right here. So my goal is to get women to be able to take action faster, so you can get the money that you deserve, so you can get the life that you deserve and the money that you deserve, and be present with yourself first, your spouse and your kids, or have time enough to run game on somebody. So you can get the Pay Raise Playbook at changenowwithchrysty.com. It's about a 30-40 minute video. Get that insight, use it, and get to the next level personally and professionally. And then lastly, I have a membership community, and we call it right now. It may change in the next 2 weeks before this podcast comes out. But right now it's called Money Loves Happy People. And so in the private community, I do 2 or 3 live Q&As every single month, try to beat women in the head, because that's what I do. Hold them accountable to the things that they want. And then also I have a training where we do training. So I have hundreds of videos that are in it. I have my resume course that's in it. I have my signature course, 7 Keys to Getting a Raise, Bonus, and Promotion That You Desire and Deserve. I recorded these videos back in 2019. The game ain't changed. So a lot of times, once my clients go through our curriculum in Vision Finder Masterclass, we don't really talk about jobs, because it ain't about the job. Y'all know how to get a job. You don't know what you're doing wrong. They come into this community, then they get the job information, and then that's how they pick up the stuff on the negotiations. And so anyway, in the community, I've had women, 3 women asked to double their salaries. I challenged all 3 of them. I was like, you better ask to double your salary. One of them got it. One of them's organization agreed with her assessment that she had of herself. And they said, we're going to look for something within the organization for you. And we also invite you to look outside. They knew they were lowballing her. They knew it.
Wow.
She didn't know. And then another woman stopped applying for low-level jobs, and now she's applying for another one. So this saga continues. And another woman recognized last week that she was angry and stressed out, and she doesn't have fibroids anymore. Like, they went away after 6 weeks, right? She was
Oh,
suffering
wow.
fibroids for years. That was stress related. Another one had a toxic woman boss, now recognizing that she was being triggered from her mama through all these women at work. She came to work, wasn't arguing with the woman before she got there, and then the woman didn't have no beef for her. I'm like, this, my God. So we can still get results in the community. So a part of the work, and that's $299 a month, actually. So, and that is Money Loves Happy People. No, it's ML. I'll give you the links for it. MLHP. So it's Money Loves Happy People Community.com. So it's MLHP Community.com, and we'll have the links for it. But yeah, that's my community. I love the community. I mean, it's we get together. I hold y'all accountable for the things that you say you want and that you want to get in your life, and the results that you want to get. And so it's a lot of it is self-study, but then you had me holding you accountable, looking in your face, talking about, I don't know, you better ask for that money. I'll say this and I'll let it go. This one woman, the lady that said she wanted to double her salary, she was self-sabotaging in the interview and didn't know it. And she would be like, all right, I did this interview and they said, I'm not a good fit. And I was like, well, what did you say when they say that? She said, I mean, what did you say, Dr. Karen? If they said
Exactly.
my feelings hurt and got mad, what did you say? She said, well, I ain't say nothing. I said, no, what did you say to
counter it?
Exactly. And I said, what did that voice in your head when I talked about earlier, what did the tape player say? She said, she had to think about it. She said, well, maybe they're right. And maybe I'm not good enough. And maybe I'm not da-da-da-da. And I'm like, she says, well, I did do the things that they said that you don't have the experience. She did them, but she didn't tell them that. She shut down.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, she was mad at them. And once we started to unpack how she self-sabotaged, because this is the double salary job. This ain't the easy low-level job. Now I'm starting to figure out, Dr. Karen, why women are selling for the $120,000 jobs, because they ain't really gonna press you at 120. But at $350, $375, $600,000, you got to be able to hold your own. And if you don't, so she started flickering in the double salary job.
Yeah.
And so I was like, call him right now. She was like, who, the recruiter or the hiring manager? I'm like, who did you talk to? She said, the hiring manager. I said, email her right now and tell her that you want another opportunity to have a conversation because you believe that you're a great fit. Like, she wants to work for this company. And she emailed the lady emailed her right back, was like, let's talk at 2:00. I'm like, my God. So it's like, a part of it is unpacking, and this is just advice for whatever. Y'all got to stop blaming other people and get off this bandwagon of all these raggedy, whack career coaches who are telling you to settle for less, or, they should accept you as an introvert in corporate America. Like, you got to play the game.
Yes.
And you need to endure a toxic workplace. That's a lie. Y'all need to go out and get the money that y'all deserve and stop playing and stop blaming other people for why you're not getting it, and stop long enough to look in the mirror and be like, how am I creating this? Because if you're not getting what you want in life, if you're not, if you haven't allowed God to open up the blessings that are waiting for you, what are you doing to not access what is available to you?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you heard it here, and her full bio is posted. Make sure that you connect with Christy, because she's the real deal. And as we close up this podcast, of course, you know that we load up a podcast every week with a new guest leader. I would be remiss if I did not mention the upcoming Sister Leaders Conference that's coming up October 4th and 5th at the Rivers Casino, Portsmouth, Virginia. And of course, we are live stream, and virtual. So I don't care, whatever your pleasure, baby, we are there. Yep, absolutely. And Christy is one of the keynote speakers. We've already started rolling out who's going to be there. And these are the real deal. Again, people who are direct, who are sharing the receipts. They're not talking about some general crap that you don't know how to implement when you go home. They are giving you specifics of what it is that you should be doing, so that you can elevate your business and or your career. And that's all what I am about in terms of sister leaders. And so I don't do a whole lot of long closing. This is the end of this podcast. Look Christy up. And
Thanks,
until
Dr. Karen.
Thank you. Until the next time, goodbye.